Good morning, Cooper Academy. Welcome to another edition of Breaking News. And now here's your host, coming to you live from the office, Mr. Perez.
Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Breaking News, where we tackle the hard-hitting issues impacting our lives here at Cooper Academy. This morning, I'm coming to you live here from the Wait, I don't think I'm in the office this morning. I'm actually in my dining room coming to you live on Tuesday morning, November 13th. I have to check the date. November 13th, coming to you live here from my dining room table. Today we have some hard-hitting issues that are impacting our school. The first thing we're going to look at is something called the cone zone. The cone zone is an issue that we're going to talk about that deals with our behavior when substitute teachers are here on campus visiting us and supporting us while your teacher might be away at a training or sick in bed, because during this time of the year, in the month of November and December, is when we have a lot of absences due to people getting sick, just like students. And so we want to make sure that we are on our best behavior when those substitute teachers are here. Also, we're also going to have our IB Me section, which we're going to look at our learner profile of the month of November, which is communicator. So we're going to learn about how we can be more effective communicators here on campus. We're also going to recognize our educator of the month. And at the end of today's video, we're going to see some footage shot of you in our campus culture corner. Look at all the cool things we've done in the month of October. It was a busy month. So without further ado, let's get started. Oh, you caught me right in the middle of enjoying my delicious Hot Pocket. I am sitting at my dining room table, and I heard that Hot Pockets are Miss Kreider's favorite food. So Thanksgiving's coming up. Thought I would enjoy a Hot Pocket here on Breaking News this morning. That's right, a Hot Pocket. Now, you ever drive with your parents on the freeway and you see like construction signs when people are working on the side of the road, and there's this sign. It says, "Slow down for the cone zone." Well, we don't have very much construction going on here at Cooper Academy, but one thing that we have noticed is that we have some issues, not with traffic, but with student misbehavior on the days when we have substitute teachers here on campus. So I'm going to do a little scientific graph here and kind of show you what that looks like, okay, here on campus. So on a normal day here on Cooper Academy, do a nice bar graph for you, nice visual. We have about this many office referrals, because your teachers do a good job of implementing their classroom management plans, building relationships with you, having the structures in the room explaining, and students pretty much have wonderful behavior here at Cooper Academy. We have some great students there, those of you who are sitting here listening to this message this morning. However, when there is a sub, we have this many office referrals, okay? Almost 4 times the amount. For some reason, when students don't have their teacher who they have this wonderful relationship and who they respect and how on their best behavior for some reason when we have a guest teacher, a guest here on campus, our misbehaviors start to increase. Now, remember, I'm here to help you as your vice principal here at Cooper Academy. So we're going to be implementing a few things when there is a sub here. We're going to call it the cone zone. Now, those signs when you're driving, it says if you are caught speeding in that area or driving recklessly in those construction zones, it's double the amount of fine. You get a ticket that's double the amount. So instead of maybe a $200 ticket, it actually could be a $500 to $400 ticket because you are being rather reckless and dangerous in that area when it's so very important that you are driving at your best. Well, instead of driving, you need to be on your best behavior when there's a sub here. If the consequence, if you are speeding or misbehaving in the cone zone when the sub is here, is an automatic 1 day after school detention, which is 1 hour from 3:45 to 4:45. So if you're thinking about misbehaving in class, I need you to really think really hard. Is it worth 1 hour of after school detention when I misbehave with the sub? And I'll remind you on campus so that we know not to speed in the cone zone. And your teachers will remind you when they leave and their sub plans that you will also know that it's going to be double the amount, double the fine, double the consequence if you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing. Most of the time, most of us here, when there's a sub, we're on your best behavior. Also, a new thing that we're going to implement here in Cougar Country is that we're going to be looking for student ambassadors who are going to help that substitute teacher with the setup of that classroom when that teacher is gone. So when that substitute teacher comes in and says, hey, how do you turn on the projector? How do you turn on Miss Kreider's projector or Mr. Wheaton's projector, or where does he keep his expo markers? That student ambassador that the teacher writes down, or that student who kind of knows the routines of that class, are going to help that substitute teacher know what the expectations are in that classroom. Now, the third thing in the cone zone is there should be absolutely no use of cell phones or electronics in that classroom when your teacher is away. I understand that some of your teachers give you the privilege of using your phone to conduct research or to look things up on your phone while they are there on campus. But when there's a substitute teacher, there should not be any phones out on your desk, out anywhere, looking things up. So that's a policy that we're going to change because it looks like student behavior goes through the roof when that substitute teacher who was there, we're kind of taking advantage of that situation, of the kindness of that teacher, that substitute teacher who's coming in. Now that could be a problem. Like how does that hurt us, or what kind of harm does that bring our school? Well, not only does it make our school look bad, like we have students who don't know how to behave, but it also makes that person who's there to sub for our classes, makes it more difficult for that teacher who is sick or has a training to go to. It makes it very difficult for them to find somebody who wants to come cover their class while they're away, and it reflects poorly on this wonderful campus that we have. All right, guys, so make sure you slow down for the cone zone. Know that you will be given an hour of after-school detention from 3:45 to 4:45 if you are misbehaving with a sub. Be on your best behavior and make sure that guest feels welcome and that you represent this school in a positive way when that substitute teacher is here on campus. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to our IB Me section. Coming up next, coming to you live, I'm just going to continue enjoying my Hot Pocket here before we get to our next section. I will be right back. Coming up next, our new segment. IB Me, IB Me, IB Me, IB Me, IB Me, IB Me, IB Me. All right, welcome back to our IB Me section, where we learn more about being an international baccalaureate school and what it takes to be that student here, be a Cooper Cougar Scholar here on campus. Now, each month we have a learner profile trait that helps us understand what are the values, what are the characteristics of an IB student. This month, our focus is communicator. That's right, communicator. I want to make sure that I'm able to communicate that to you clearly here in my dining room this morning at 5:30 a.m. Now, a communicator here at Cooper Academy, an IB communicator, is someone who expresses themselves confidently, creatively, and in more than one language, and in many ways. Now, we collaborate effectively by listening carefully to the perspectives of others and individuals in our school and in the groups that we communicate with. Communication leads to community, that is, to understanding, intimacy, mutual valuing of the people that we are around each day here on this campus and in this community and in this world. Now, communication is very important. I'm going to communicate this morning that I really miss Mrs. Day here, but she's not here in my dining room today this morning because she's someone that I usually shoot the IB Me section with. Now, to be an effective communicator, we have to make sure that we are understanding how we are coming off and how we are listening to other people here at this school. Now, we communicate in the language that we speak. That means the things that come out of our mouth. We communicate in the way that we write here at Cooper Academy. So when you're asked to do a short response or write an essay, that's one way we communicate. We also communicate through our body language, so the way our face looks. Give you the stink eye. Yeah, the way we communicate with our body language, the way that we stand, the way that we come into, the way that we sit up in class communicates a certain way. But also, for a lot of our students, we also communicate now with something new to all of us, which is a cell phone and through social media platforms. Now, there's a very important acronym that I want you to use when you are thinking about communicating. I know the teachers are like, another acronym. You know, here in Fresno Unified School District, our teachers have an IPG, an IPL, a CFA, a CFU, any other acronym you could think of. But for students, I want you to remember this acronym. The acronym that I want you to remember, students, around communicating is the acronym THINK. THINK. T-H-I-N-K. And what that acronym stands for is each one of those letters of THINK are a very important way that you need to make sure that you are having effective communication. Because when something is not communicated effectively, it can lead to hurt relationships and that lack of respect or mutual collaboration between adults, students to students, and people around campus when we're not communicating well to each other. So what does THINK stand for? Well, I'm going to tell you right now what THINK stands for. The first letter in THINK is the letter T. So you have to think to yourself before you communicate to somebody, whether it's on a cell phone or coming to you live, is what you're communicating, is it true? Are you giving the most factual based evidence of an event that happened or whatever is taking place? Is it true, or are you telling a not truth, a lie? We want to make sure that we're honest when we are communicating with each other, because honesty leads to trust. So are we telling the truth when we communicate, when we post something online, or when we're talking to people, when we're using our mouth, or when we're writing something down? Is it true? The H in THINK is it helpful? Is what we're communicating helpful to the situation? Are we being collaborative? Are we sharing with one another to bring up solutions rather than just complain about a problem or just have some random opinion about things? Is what we're posting or what we're saying helpful? The I in THINK is it inspiring? Is what we're putting out there changing the world around us and making people have a call to action, or getting my own self, or when I'm communicating, leading to some inspiring call to action, something that we do based upon the information that we're sharing, or are we just wanting to hear our own voice and use our own words here? The N in THINK is it necessary? Guys, there's students here that love to communicate in class. They love to speak their minds. But is it really necessary at that moment? Or do you need to wait and maybe use the strategy of 3 before me and listen to what other people are saying, other students are saying, other people in collaboration with us are saying before what I say is really necessary? And also, what I'm posting, what I'm writing, what I'm saying, is it kind? Are the things that I'm saying hurtful? Am I being kind to the relationships that I am trying to foster and build here at this IB school and in this community and in this world? Or am I putting it out there just to be nasty and mean and to bring attention to myself? Or is it because I'm trying to serve my own selfish needs by putting people down and bringing attention to some of their shortcomings? I want you to think about that acronym THINK when we're communicating here on campus, because communication is very important. Also, in that way, we just talked about behavior with subs and with teachers in class. One of the most common behavior referrals here on campus is for students communicating too much and at the wrong time. Guys, whatever you're saying is very important. And I know that you might have a relationship with that person sitting right next to you, just like I have with my teachers and staff here on campus. But we have to make sure that our timing for this communication is right as well. So when the teacher, an adult, or a student is speaking, it's never going to be okay to interrupt them, to interrupt whatever the important things they're saying, to have a side conversation that's more important to whatever that person is saying up there in front of the class, or with whatever they're teaching or you're learning about. At that time, you should be listening. We always think that communicating is about the output, things that are coming out of us, the writing that we're putting out, the words that we're saying. But a big part of being an effective communicator is being a great listener and listening to understand. Listening to understand what that person, what that teacher, what that friend, what the people that you are working with here in this classroom are saying and doing, so that you can be able to connect with them and have that mutual respect, and that they too will then listen to you when you have that great idea or point that you want to make. All right, my communicators, make sure that we're communicating well these next 4 days here on campus before Thanksgiving break. I will be right back. All right, welcome back. Every morning here on Breaking News, I have an opportunity to recognize an outstanding staff member here on campus. And you guys all have that chance to nominate that person and submit nominations for that teacher, that staff member around campus who's done some excellent, outstanding work here. This month, I have the pleasure of recognizing our staff member of the month, Mr. Wheaton. Mr. Wheaton is not only our PE teacher, not only is he our athletic director who's in charge of making sure that we have the schedules and buses and all the games set up for our wonderful athletic teams here at Cooper Academy, but he's also one of our coaches here on campus. During the fall season, he was our football coach. The students said, get my paper, Mr. Wheaton, not only are you a nice PE teacher and you're kind to everybody and you're calm and you talk to us in a very respectful way, but you also try to bring the best out of us, whether it's in PE or whether we're on the field. You always have high expectations of us and ask us to do our best. I am so glad that you are our coach and our teacher, and I look forward to hanging out with you the next couple years here at Cooper Academy. Mr. Wheaton, if you guys see Mr. Wheaton, you tell him congratulations. We have a ton of awesome teachers and staff members here on campus. This month, if you have somebody that you want to recognize who goes beyond the call of duty, that you want to say, hey man, hey lady, hey person, you did a great job here on campus and you impact my life in a positive way, come by the office and drop off a nomination. If you see Mr. Wheaton around campus, give him a high five out there in PE land. Great job, Mr. Wheaton. I'll be right back to wrap things up. I hope you guys continue to enjoy our another edition of Breaking News. I'll be right back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for our Cougar Campus Culture Corner. Try saying that 3 times fast.
ladies and gentlemen, just to wrap things up, we learned about the cone zone, about the double the amount of fines and how we need to behave, because we want this bar graph to go down even to 0 for number of office referrals to the office. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're on our best behavior in that cone zone when subs are here. We also had an opportunity to learn about how to be a better communicator, to think before we communicate, to think, T-H-I-N-K, before we communicate. We had an opportunity to recognize Mr. Wheaton. Congratulations, Mr. Wheaton, for our staff member of the month, educator of the month. Great job, Mr. Wheaton. We also had an opportunity to see all the cool things that you're doing around campus in our Campus Culture Corner. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we only have about 4 more days left here of school before our 1 week of vacation. I want to communicate to you that I'm very thankful for all of you around this campus. I'm very thankful to serve as your vice principal here on campus. If you have a chance, make sure that you let those people know who you are thankful, those teachers, those staff members, those student relationships that you have, who you're thankful for today and throughout this week. I want to tell you I'm very thankful to my 2 co-administrators, Miss Abel and Miss Teran, and all the teachers that I get to work with and staff members that I get to work with on this mission of educating all of you IB students here at Cooper Academy. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Breaking News, and as always, go Cougars!
Alright folks, check out this video and all other videos from Breaking News on YouTube. Search Cooper Academy Advisory so you can see this video once again here, coming to you live from Cooper Academy.